There's a cake on the table, candles lit, chairs empty, and somewhere in the world right now, someone knows it is their birthday and feels absolutely nothing about it. The phone lights up, messages stack, notifications pile one on top of another, and the hand beside it never reaches. Not because something is wrong, but because something is different. Maybe this is you. You are sitting at your desk, focused, calm, working through the day like any other, and suddenly everyone around you stops, holding a cake, looking at you like you forgot something important. But you did not forget. You just did not think it mattered. Every year the same date gets circled on the calendar, starred, decorated. Society says this day is different. This day means something. But when you look at that circle, you feel the same as you did yesterday. And that quiet indifference is not emptiness. It is actually something worth understanding. Most people move through life at the rhythm the world sets for them. Birthdays, milestones, celebrations, rush, plan, perform. But some people move at their own pace entirely, unhurried, unbothered, walking a different rhythm altogether. And it is not that they don't care about people. You can be in the same room, you can love the people around you, and still feel no pull toward the ritual, the planning, the noise, the performance. It simply does not register as necessary. Here's what psychology tells us about people like this. They already know who they are, not perfectly, not arrogantly, but quietly, steadily. The mirror shows them something the crowd cannot give them, and they have learned to trust what they see there. Psychologists call this an internal locus of identity. It means your sense of self does not live on the outside. It does not depend on acknowledgement. It does not run on applause. The validation already happened, quietly, privately, without an audience. Think of it like a battery. Most people charge from external sources, the celebration, the attention, the annual reminder that they are loved. But some people carry their own charge. Their energy comes from understanding themselves, from reflection, from clarity, from sources that never run dry. And even when the world is celebrating just behind the door, they stand at the window, not sad, not hiding, simply already complete, not needing what is on the other side. Most of us experience life as a series of checkpoints. Birthdays are the most personal of them. Small flags planted into time, proof that we passed through, proof that we were noticed. But for some people, the timeline has no flags, no checkpoints worth stopping at, just the continuous act of moving forward. Psychologists call this low temporal landmark salience. It simply means their brain does not assign extra weight to specific dates. Time is not a series of chapters to them. It's one long, unbroken river, always moving, never needing a dam to mark its progress. Autumn, winter, spring, summer, each holds the same value. Growth does not happen in a single celebrated moment. It happens slowly, continuously, invisibly, like the seasons themselves. No announcement, no ceremony, just the quiet turning of things. There's an almost Buddhist quality to this mindset. Not ceremonial, not ritualistic, just present. Every ordinary moment given the same quiet attention. Every day neither more nor less meaningful than the last. Just lived, fully, privately, enough. And so the birthday passes. They walk past the decorated window, not drawn in, not pulled by what everyone else is running toward. The window glows for someone else, and that is perfectly fine. Because this morning, an ordinary Tuesday morning, feels just as full. the warmth of a cup, the light through a window, the quiet before the world begins. This is enough. This has always been enough. And if you're wondering whether something is wrong with them, whether the empty seat means loneliness, whether the untouched place setting is a wound, it is not. The choice to step away from obligatory gatherings is not absence, it is discernment. Some people celebrate quietly. A walk at dawn, footprints in the sand, nobody watching, nobody needing to watch. The ocean does not require an audience, neither do they. Here's the contrast that matters. Some people need the crowd to feel real, the attention, the voices, the acknowledgement. Without it, the self feels thin. But others stand alone and radiate from within, not because they're cold, because they are grounded. Their sense of self does not ripple when the room goes quiet. It does not depend on who remembered, on who called, on how many messages arrived. The reflection stays clear, steady, unchanged. Now let's go deeper into what's actually happening in the brain. Neuroscience shows us that identity can be powered in two very different ways. One region lights up when external validation arrives. Another region needs nothing from the outside. It generates its own signal, its own quiet certainty. Every brain has pathways that seek external confirmation. They reach outwards, scanning for approval, for recognition, for social proof. But some brains develop stronger inward loops, self-referencing circuits that say, I already know this, I already know who I am. No confirmation required. Research in authenticity psychology consistently shows this. People with strong internal identity anchors are less affected by the presence or absence of external recognition. The wall of trophies means nothing compared to what is outside the window. The horizon means more than the certificate. The open world means more than the framed proof of belonging. And then there's time. The way we experience time is deeply personal. For most people, time is urgent, marked, measured, ticking. Birthdays are the loudest tick of all. Another year passed, another year counted. Better make it mean something. But for people who treat birthdays like ordinary days, the road itself is the point, not the milestones along the edge, not the flags planted by others, just the continuous act of moving forward. Psychologists call this continuous time perception. Time is not experienced in chapters, it's experienced as one long unfolding. Autumn does not end a year, spring does not begin one. Everything simply continues. And within that continuity, the self grows without ceremony. To live this way requires a kind of discipline most people never practice. Presence without occasion, meaning without milestone. The act of doing what you do, not because it's a special day, but because this moment deserves full attention. Every moment does. This is why noise doesn't reach them easily. The party happens outside the glass. The world celebrates with volume and performance. But inside their interior world, there's something the party cannot offer: depth, stillness, continuity. Now let's talk about something most people never measure: social energy. Psychologists call it emotional labor. Every social performance costs something, and birthday celebrations are among the most demanding performances we're asked to give. Receiving attention, performing gratitude, managing other people's expectations, pretending the gift is exactly what you wanted. For some people, that cost is simply too high for something that doesn't feel genuine. Psychologists describe this as social selectivity, not antisocial, not cold, selective. They draw a line, not in anger, not in fear, in quiet self-knowledge. This is where my energy belongs. This is where it does not. And when they walk the quieter path, it is not because they are lost, it is because they have chosen. The wide road was available, the crowd was going that way, but the narrow path had something the wide road did not: honesty, stillness, the right kind of silence. This is psychologically healthy. Studies on social burnout consistently show that people who engage selectively, who choose depth over frequency, report higher relationship satisfaction over time. They're not lonely at that table. They're whole. Because when they do show up for someone, it means everything. Not because the calendar said so, not because the ritual required it, but because they chose it. That gift given on an ordinary Tuesday carries more weight than any obligatory gesture on a designated day.